On 3FM 92.7, got a gentleman, a visionary entrepreneur who has founded multiple thriving businesses, notably disruptive Eden Bar, Accra's first non-alcoholic establishment somewhere in Tesano. Well, despite facing public ridicule and skepticism, has maintained and remained steadfast in his vision of providing a space where young individuals could socialize without the pressures of alcohol and its related vices. Admirably, his motivations extend beyond mere financial gain. He is driven by a desire to make a meaningful impact and exemplified by this book, which we'll talk about in a bit, and many of his projects that he's embarked on. His life is a goal, and the goal is to contribute to building a thriving and equitable first world Ghana, one that is as sustainable, inclusive, and of global standing. I give you John Asogonde. He's my guest in studio. John.
Yes,
my
good
namesake.
Morning.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I trust you're good too.
Great. I'm greater than Accra. John is the author of Unchained, Embracing Purpose Beyond Addiction. Why Unchained, John?
As the title says, Unchained is a story about how I broke off my chains. I believe every human being at some point in your life, you may be restricted by certain chains. Could be addiction, could be poverty, could be family, it could be anything. And there is a way to get out of those chains.
Right.
And so for me, by God's grace, I was able to break off my chains of addiction. And I thought it was wise to share the story and help other people who may be dealing with similar situations.
How long were you addicted, and to what?
So my primary addiction would be marijuana.
Okay.
And I was an addict for about 6 years. Yeah.
6 years. And how did you get in there?
Peer pressure.
From secondary school, from church, from
not from church, but yeah, I mean
community?
from school. So it started in secondary school, but not with marijuana.
Okay.
Secondary school, we started with alcohol, cigarettes,
Right.
and then it was in the university that we upgraded to marijuana, so to say.
How old were you then?
I was just 18 when I started smoking marijuana.
Okay.
But I was 15 when I started drinking.
Okay, in secondary school.
Yeah.
So you'd break bounds and go and drink and that kind of vibe.
We used to break bounds a lot, and it ended as being sacked. I was actually sacked from secondary school because we're always breaking bounds to just go and party, fun fairs, travel all the way to different schools, different regions for fun fairs and all of that. So, yeah, that was the life we were living.
Which secondary school was that, by the way?
Actually, it's a school in the OT region now.
OT region. It's in the OT region. Because my social media person said, he mentioned one boys' school. I said, no, it's not.
Bishop Heman. I used to be at Bishop Heman.
Oh, you were at the
time.
Roland School. Yes. That's it. So it's Roland School.
I didn't go there, but I used to be there.
You used to be there every time.
Yeah.
And what was happening there?
My friends were there, and with boys' school, the thrill is higher. So I would always go there, and then we are going to Ula Girls for fun fairs, Kobo Girls, all of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see a lot of heavyweights, Richard Mamakita, Rami Betty, Dr. Kofi Obeng, Owusu Boateng, Prophet Pine. I mean, a lot of greats have forwarded this book for you. I mean, they've had testimonials of the book.
Yeah.
Did they have a role to play in your turnaround?
Yeah, most of these people have been mentors in my life. After I gave my life to Christ and turned my life around, I thought it's wise to keep mentors that can guide me in the right path to go. So I'm privileged to have them in my life.
This is how many chapters? 18. So the preacher's kid, Rollins in town, all because of Krobo Girls. Okay. Mary Jane and the Little Minions. I Am Not John Hammett. Dancing with Darkness, God Did, Prison Break, Against the Culture, Don't Fight, Run, Living the World Behind the Sacrifices, Kingdom Citizen Rewards, FGBMFI, The Importance of Fellowship, Ties That Bind, Purpose and Identity, opening Accra's first non-alcoholic bar, which I think is it's a great innovation. No smoking in Bora Bora, and the journey continues. Let's talk about All Because of Krobo Girls. How did they influence you?
Yeah, I mean, there was this time we left school without exit all the way to Krobo Girls for a fanfare.
Right.
And it was a Friday. No, I think we left on Friday, but the fanfare was on Saturday.
Okay.
And we didn't return until the next Wednesday. So by the time we got to school, the headmaster had found out this
Roll
guy is
call
really,
had happened, and
so the next Monday morning assembly, we were sacked. And so I talked about how, all because of, I just wanted to go and have fun. And because of that, I was sacked from school.
okay.
So that's a story there.
For many young people who think that, look, they are caged, yes, you have been able to get out of it. And let's walk through. I've been scanning the book. Somebody looked you in the eye and said, as for you only, even Jesus cannot save you. Somebody told you that.
Yeah.
Why did they say that?
At that point, I think I was living very reckless. I was doing all the vices you can think of. And she probably just thought it was impossible because this guy is always smoking, he's always drinking, he's in the club, he's doing this and that. Like,
Right.
she didn't perceive or see any future where, I could be saved. And so she said, as for you, even Jesus cannot save you.
Who was this person?
Honestly, I may not even recall her
Okay.
because I was with a lot of people back then.
But you remember?
I remember.
You were a preacher's kid.
Yes.
Wow. So how did you move away? Church boy, daddy's son, is preaching, people are changing, converting people, and then you took the left turn and you left the whole place.
Yeah. So
What
that's
happened?
That's what is in chapter 1, the preacher's kid. A lot of preacher's kids don't understand that your dad being a pastor or a bishop alone doesn't mean you're also a Christian. Every individual personally needs to cultivate that relationship with God.
That's right.
And unfortunately, I didn't do that when I was growing up, and so this led me to quickly, go astray and fall into all these vices.
Your friends who were together with you, in the addiction cage, do you still have some in there?
I do, actually. Unfortunately, I still have some, but lately I receive a lot of messages from them. They are inspired by what I do. They are very, motivated, and they feel like they can also do it. Actually, a few of them have actually stopped. Just yesterday, I was talking to one guy, and he said, he saw how I turned my life around.
Right.
He's also making steps to get there. So,
Was it easy turning away from this?
it wasn't easy. It came with a lot of sacrifices and a lot of pain. But I was strengthened by God.
What
It was
kind of
not by-
sacrifice are we talking about?
Well, I was working in the entertainment industry as well, and when I turned around, I realized that environment was not good for me,
Right.
and so I had to step out. But this job was providing me everything I had: my accommodation, salary,
feeding,
everything. But I had to leave it behind because I couldn't stay in that environment
Right.
and be successful at quitting smoking or quitting
Right.
drinking.
Right.
So sacrifices like that were there. Friends that I grew up with, or friends that I had a tight bond with, I had to cut them
Right.
off because I couldn't be around them anymore. So yeah, it was tough.
And how long did it take for you to get out of it? I mean, in terms of the rehabilitation process, we've seen Okonfo Kwade, we've seen a couple of other people, Kiki
Yeah.
Jan. They never made it out. They were stuck in it till, and it's quite sad for many greats like that. How long did it take for you to get out of it?
So that's a very important question. I think if people go to rehab, or people do all these things and try to get out of addiction, but they fall back again.
Right.
And I've found a way that works, and that's why I write this book. And that way is Christ. When you're saved by Christ, you are free indeed. And for me, that's what has done it. When I quit smoking, people said, "Oh, 1 week you come back, 2 weeks you come back, 3 weeks you come back." It's been 5 good years.
Right.
And by the grace of God.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I've never returned there
Do
anymore.
you get a sense that society has a certain support system that helps people who want to get out of such situations, or society actually boxes people into what they think? Like the woman who told you, "As for you, even Jesus can't save you."
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think the society is doing very well. Organizations like the Mental Health Authority is doing quite very well.
Right.
This month, for instance, they have the Purple Month going, and they are having so many interventions for students and
Right.
people in communities. But we can do better. With the stigmatization, people are even scared to talk about these things because they feel they might lose some respect and dignity in society. And one thing people have to understand is that addiction can get anybody, no matter your status, no matter your religion, whoever you are, you can get addicted. And so we should be more compassionate to people like that, and welcoming to them especially if they've expressed their interest to break free.
You were born Ishmael.
Yes.
Now you are John.
Yes.
Tell me the story.
So I was born Ishmael Asogonde, and I grew up in KJB in the OT region.
Right.
Very small town, quiet. One day we hear the president was coming to visit, and all of a sudden the town became so colorful, so jubilant. And I was just 6 years old.
Right.
So I said, let me go and see who this man is that has brought so much happiness to the community.
Right.
I go there and I see this man, the late President Jerry John Rawlings.
Right.
And I was just filled with so much hope. I was like, wow, who is this man? Just his presence alone has brought so much happiness to the community.
That's right.
And so I wanted to become like him. So immediately I dropped the Ishmael and then I picked up John.
And that inspired you to do a lot more things.
Yeah, I mean, I had the aspiration to become like him since I was 6 years old. But unfortunately, because of the path I went, I almost, forgot about that ambition. But I write that there because I wanted to make people understand that, usually when you're kids, that's when most of your ambitions are birthed. And so it's important to reflect to those times because it can help you even find your identity and purpose now.
Right.
Because that has helped me. It's helped me know that you have an ambition to become president. You cannot keep smoking or keep drinking or keep womanizing and reach there. It's impossible. If you really want to make an impact, you can't live that life.
You can't continue living like. What do you say to those who? I mean, I played a ESM song. You heard all the things that they were saying in the song. Well, it's good for asthma, it's good for this, it's good for that. I've seen Mary Jane and her little minions, but people make all those excuses for it. They say, legalize it, do this, do that. First of all, the excuses that are made so to use it, what do you say to that?
I made those excuses myself. Back then when we were smoking, people would tell you, Charlie, stop this. I said, nah, it's good for my health. But it's a lie. No doctor has diagnosed you or prescribed marijuana for you. You're just smoking to get high. Marijuana definitely has some health benefits. The CBD oils, even industrial benefits.
Right.
It has that. But you don't just roll up and smoke and say you're smoking for health. It needs to be prescribed to you, and that's not even the THC you're smoking. That is something else. But people just want to find excuses to support their habits, and so they make these things all up. I also believe that a lot of smokers, deep down their heart, they know it's not good for them. They're just in self-denial. If you're a real stoner, if you smoke every day, you know the toll is taken on you, but you're just in denial.
How does it make you feel? For those who have not tasted it, so people get a sense that, look, when I do this, I'm actually drowning.
Well, in the beginning, it's not really bad, I would say. Like, it's interesting. You're smoking, the first time you smoke, it probably opens your mind to certain areas you've not thought about. You laugh a lot. You're eating more.
You're sitting on your own and laughing.
So, it just feels good in that moment. But as you keep doing it, and now it becomes an addiction, and you're smoking every time, then that's where, all the problems come, the paranoia, hallucinations, so many troubles. You can find yourself in deep problems if you smoke heavy.
Legalize or not to legalize? That's a conversation now that our nation has been stuck with. Everybody's talking about it. What do you say? You have been in and out. What do you say?
For legalization, I don't think Ghana is there yet. People say, other countries have legalized it and they're making money out of it, but we have cocoa. Ghana is like the second largest producer of cocoa.
That's right.
But how much money are we making from the chocolate industry? It's over 100 billion industry. We're not even making 2% of that.
Right.
So what's to say that if we legalize marijuana, we can actually, make something of it for you? We don't have structures in place. You legalize marijuana now, the consequences and, all the structures you need to put in place to avoid abuse are not there.
Right.
And so now it becomes a drug that people are abusing. It's not become a drug that is bringing you revenue as people think.
There are others who have also made the argument that, look, people have smoked marijuana, some are 70, 80, they still smoke, some drink it, they eat it, nothing has happened to them. It is the abuse that will put you in, the situation that you describe. What do you say?
Well, nothing will happen to you. That's why I got addicted. Before I started smoking, the stories I heard was that if you smoke marijuana, you go mad.
Right.
But I went to school, I saw my guys smoking, they were not mad. And so I said, cool, then let me smoke it.
Let me try.
So truly, you may not go mad when you smoke marijuana.
Right.
Truly, you may still be materially successful when you smoke marijuana.
Right.
But what it does is that it takes you away from the divine purpose God has for your life.
Right.
it clouds your judgment, and anything that clouds your judgment takes you away from exactly what maybe God has purposed for your life. So you may be 80, you are successful, you have all the cars, all the houses, but you don't have true fulfillment because you're not doing what the Lord has sent you on earth to do. And that is basically my message.
You were the go-to guy, John Hammett.
Yes.
Great guy. Anybody wanted anything, you had it.
Yeah.
You were the key guy. You know, how did you become John Hammett?
I became John Hammett in school. We were throwing the biggest parties. I was part of Get Familiar GH. We were having Friday Friends at the Silver Lounge, Accra Mall.
Right.
Social media, BlackBerry, those days, BlackBerry Messenger, then Echo House, all the biggest parties that were happening around that time. I was part of it. So John Hammett became that guy that had access to all these things.
Okay.
And then after that, also I joined the Black Avenue group of companies. We had a nightclub, Club Onyx.
Yes.
We had the record label.
Right.
And so I just had access to everything, and
you met everyone, had access to everything.
And that also got into my head, and it escalated, the level at which I was. Because when we started smoking, we were just smoking like 1 CD weed.
Right.
But at this point, I was smoking expensive weed. I was smoking, all strains.
Right.
These days I hear they have GH Gold.
Hey.
We're smoking Afghan Blue Sativa. Like I've forgotten the names, but yeah, we're smoking like some. So that
high-end stuff,
but it still didn't satisfy. That's the point I'm trying to make.
So now there was the temptation to add something else to it, and that was where you thought that you had to get out of it. So what are you now, a preacher or an author, just a business mogul running your stuff?
Yeah, I'm not a pastor. I mean, in my introduction, I mentioned that I'm not a pastor,
right?
And I don't aspire to be a pastor.
Okay.
I at best maybe an author and an entrepreneur, but I believe that as Christians we can impact the world around us no matter what we do. You're a journalist, you can still impact the world.
If somebody walks up to you now to say, John, I need help, I have listened to you in your conversation with John Hughes, I think that I need help, what would you do?
I'll direct them to where I got my help from, Christ. That's what it did for me. I mean, I had to discipline myself and do some of the physical things, like the sacrifice I had to make, the discipline, change of habits. I started replacing smoking. I replaced it with reading, walking, exercising, all these things.
You make it look so easy. We've tried to rehabilitate a few guys. It didn't. I remember, Caleb and I, we got this striker. No, Caleb Neboy, this striker guy. We got him off the street, took him, the next 2 weeks. So it's you make it sound so easy. Is it that easy, or it's difficult and you're making it look easy?
It's not easy, but what made it easy for me was the Christ factor. But that's what I'm saying, that the Christ factor will make it easy, but you still have to do those physical things. You need to discipline yourself. You need to change your environment. You need to stop talking to certain people. You need to stop going to certain places. I couldn't go to the nightclub anymore. Change my friends.
You need to change your chilling places.
I mean, like, so many things have to go. And people are not willing to make those sacrifices.
People think that Eden's Bar is boring. There's no alcohol. There's no, the hippie stuff. You've been in there. So, what makes your place the haven for those who want to move away from, addiction, marijuana, etc.? Why should they choose your place?
So we have a slogan that alcohol doesn't have a monopoly over fun. True fun doesn't require alcohol, and we've been able to create that at Eden Bar. People come there, just sit down in the garden, listening to some very good music, drinking our very nice cocktails, and they're happy.
What kind of music do you play there?
We play everything, but it's decent. So we have reggae, we have gospel, we have jazz, classicals, high life, even some Afro beats. But it's very decent music. So you're enriched when you're there. And our drinks, because I've worked in the nightclub and in that industry, I know that the skill and the everything that goes into making a good cocktail. So we've been able to create a very nice menu as well.
But the alcohol is taken
away from it.
John, we have to go. Our time is up. Software Diani is here. But guide us, where can we get the book? And maybe you leave your contact and your social media handles so we can...
so the book is freshly out, Unchained, Embracing Purpose Beyond Addiction. You can grab a copy at Eden Bar in Tesano. I'll actually be doing a book signing at Eden Bar on Saturday, 4 p.m.
This Saturday?
This Saturday. Okay. And then you can also get it in bookshops, all bookshops, everywhere they sell books. You can get it Amazon, Apple Books, John
Asokonde, the great guy.
Thank you.
Bosu.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, and congratulations to you. Well, we're calling out all vendors, parents, guardians, expectant mothers and fathers at 3FM